Welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings, with me, Gretta Chamberlain, Yvonne Kraeher, Leigh Stima, and the Realm of Beings. Shifting Impressions, which is one of the vehicles that supports the transmission of the Realm of Beings, is here to assist you in delving into your being by providing numerous topics and discussions for you to intake as you deepen your connection with your inner world. Shifting Impressions is here to assist you in strengthening yourself as you excavate to understand your true nature. Leigh, Yvonne, and myself, with the Realm of Beings, eagerly invite you to join us today and learn to shift your mindset, shift your thoughts, and shift your focus to recreate your life and produce a new you. Shifting Impressions starts now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings. I'm Leigh, and I'm here with Yvonne and Gretta, and as always, the Realm of Beings. And we are very happy to be on Transformation Talk Radio every week at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. You can also find us on Facebook Live and any of your favorite streaming services. We want these conversations to help you examine your life and your creation of reality. They will help you shift your impressions and understand what you're creating in your life and how it shows up. Thank you also, listeners, for tuning in and joining us this week. We have a request to make, a new request to make. If you find our content valuable and informative, if you wouldn't mind liking us on wherever you listen or sharing it with a friend, we would appreciate it because that helps us reach more people. So thank you. If you could do that, we'd appreciate it. Today, we are going to be talking about the quotation, "The true stationary foundation of your reality is the force. Consequently, everything else that you are experiencing is an illusion." And when Gretta first gave us this quotation, something in me really got triggered. And I wasn't quite sure what part. I'm feeling a little less resistant to it today than the first time I heard it. But, I mean, we have things to talk about for sure, because the first question that comes to my mind is, how do we know the true stationary foundation of our reality is the force? And that's not just a belief, like so many other things that we know are, or we think are true, but they're just beliefs. How do I know that that's true and not just another illusion that we created? That is what I have to say today.
Wow. I think, I separate belief systems from a knowingness.
Okay.
That's the first thing. A belief system is, for me, something that I don't necessarily feel it internally, but I've accepted it to be so. I always use my great-grandfather's experience. And when I was 14, they were getting ready to land the first person on the moon. And the first thing my great-grandfather said to me was, "I hope they land when the moon is full."
Mhm.
So as a child, I realized that he believed that. And there was no way that I was going to talk to him about light refraction and all that kind of stuff. I mean, he was just not going to accept that. he wanted them to be safe, so they had to go when the moon was full. Otherwise,
More
it's
place
not
for them
there.
to land.
Right, right. Otherwise, it's not there. Now, that is his belief. So a belief for me is something that you truly have taken into your heart, but it's not necessarily so. It's just something you believe in. So a knowingness, you get to a knowingness when it's inside your gut. It's deep inside your gut. And it's such a change, that you have to really think about it and think about it and think about it. That's why you had to do some really soul searching on that, Leigh, and you're still searching for the answer on that, So it's moving you past a belief system into a knowingness. Yeah. So I think the work that I do, the facilitation work that I do, has really assisted me in getting into more knowingness and out of belief systems. One woman that I was facilitating for told me, she says, well, your belief system. I said, no. I said, this is not a belief system. This is a knowingness. Like I truly understand and know I am the force, but having a humanoid experience. That's what that's like. I'm the force, but I'm having a humanoid experience here that I've decided that I wanted. It's like creation of reality. Very few people accept that because it's easier to accept their failures as the responsibility of others, what they call quote unquote failures, you see. And they see failure. That's a belief. When the true reality is there's no failure ever. You see, there's another presentation of a belief system and a knowingness. There's never a failure with anybody. But we believe in that. We believe in that. Some of us even give ourselves a dis-ease, and we believe in its existence. So therefore, we give it more energy and more energy and more energy. We become sicker and sicker. That's a belief in fate and destiny. That's a belief. I'm fated to have cancer. I'm destined to marry this man or this woman. Those are beliefs. That is not the true reality. Yeah. Okay, come on, hit me with it.
How do we distinguish that? Because, why, in a sense, is the force having a humanoid experience just an illusion? Because it seems like the force is having a humanoid experience. So why is that something illusory to it? Because it's having it.
Yes, absolutely. In that case, that can be true. But it's like last night I had a dream, which is another reality. See, there's so many realities. So I had a dream reality. And when I came out of it, I came back into this reality. So now which one is real and which one isn't?
Well, right. That's the thing. That's the thing about this illusory part. I think the thing that triggered me in this statement was that, that everything that we're having in this humanoid experience, or this, this body, that I can feel. And that was something I realized too, that I will question you ladies, because I said, aha, that is a dream. Because I wonder if in your dreams, the thing, I've heard that people can sometimes have olfactory experiences in a dream, but in those dreams, it could be you see people, you're having conversations, things are moving, everything. But the thing I noticed is you don't feel anything. Like you have not I don't have a tactile experience there in the dream world.
See, that depends on the individual.
Well, right, that's why
Depends on if you create.
experiences.
See, you have to create to smell it. You have to create to feel touch in your dream. Because
Mhm.
that's another reality. You're creating the reality. See, this reality, and this is something we really don't teach it until people go through creation of reality 1 and 2 with us. But when we get to creation of reality 3, we tell you point blank that everything that you see in front of you, you are creating at the time that you see it. When you don't see it, it doesn't exist. It's like when you go, like let's say people are looking at your backdrop, my backdrop, Yvonne's backdrop with that great plant, there, we all have plants. So they've created that for us. But if we ask individual people, what do you see? Their perception is going to be different. You see, if it was really, 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 truly there, we'd all see the same thing, and we don't. That's because we are creating the reality of what we want to see. It's like if you go to an accident and there are a lot of people standing around and you ask them, what did you see? What did you see? What did you see? Everybody's going to give a different story about what they saw. It may have some things in there that are similar, but everybody will have another perspective of what this is. See, your perception assists you in learning your reality, in seeing it. Seeing your reality, being in your reality. But if it was a truism, we would all see the same thing every time, and we don't. Everything is different. When you get ready to sit on your bed, you can't sit on your bed until you create your bed to sit on. It's like one time, well, several times now, and it's coming up more frequently, I tell people, don't think that you've lost something. Okay, see, that's the belief. I've lost it. Okay, I said, change that and note that you did not create to see it. So create it. Don't think loss, think create. So
does that work?
Yeah, it works. This one woman right in class, she had lost her let me see, her debit card. She had lost the doggone thing for over a week. She said, I can't find it. I've lost it. And when I taught, don't think lost, just think create. She texted me back in the chat just that fast. She said, oh, I have my debit card, Greta. Because she realized, let me create my debit card. So she created the doggone thing. Then I had another gentleman. He got off the telephone with me, texted me back, and because on the telephone call, he told me, I have not been able to find my license or find, excuse me, my credit debit card. I don't know where it is. So we talked about create it. That's all you have to do. It's not lost. For some odd reason, you've uncreated it. So he texted me back about an hour later. He said, I have it. And he had lost it for a while. I've had people call me and they tell me, I think I have a ghost in my house. What do you mean? What's making you think that? And they say, well, I have my keys in one place, but I found them in another place. And I know I didn't move my keys. I said, well, you just created your keys in another place. That's all you did. So the belief is in something can be lost instead of the understanding that all you've got to do is recreate it. Because that's what you're doing anyway. That's what we do anyway.
It's like magic.
It looks like it's magic, but that's the truism of it, you know, and I've seen it over and over again. I tell people, stop thinking lost. One person just, I think that just this week said something to me. I remember, Greta, what you said, and I recreated it. It was in a total different place. I can't even remember what she was looking for, but she recreated it. See, now that's belief versus knowing, you see.
You have to be pretty confident in yourself. I think that to move forward with these ideas, that's just my opinion, because you know, we get so stuck in the realities, the belief systems that we've grown up with, and to change that requires a lot of inner strength and commitment, I think.
Well, I think I would agree with that, because then you have to, not only that, but you have to be open to the understanding of it.
Yeah.
So you shut down because you can say, oh, this is blasphemous. Give all kinds of reasons why you're not going to accept that fact.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to even entertain that it's real. But see, once you start to open up, you're going to find on your own that what we're saying here on the podcast is real. You will discover that yourself, you see.
Yeah, that's what, you know, people out there, they call miracles, you know, when people start really, you know, have that knowing that instead of having a disease, being ill, they're miraculously cured. But a lot of that has to do with the work that they do, the meditations and the inner work, to get to that point. Anyway, to shift that from like, oh, I'm sick, and you know, why did I get, you know, like in that whatever it was, I'm having this or that going on in my life. It's almost like, you know, the victim mentality can just, you know, just keep going and going with every aspect of your life if you allow that to take over. But when you shift it into a knowing that everything is all okay, just the way it is, and it's all, we're good, right?
Right, because there is no bad.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you the truth, there is no good either.
There's no good either, right? I really have to monitor my words, because I still get stuck on things. So yeah.
And see, another belief system. There's another belief system that I could have accepted, and I did not. And that was that when you get congestive heart failure, the only thing that you can do is die from it.
Right.
That's a belief system. When I experienced congestive heart failure, I did not accept that belief system. And I saw myself in perfect health. I talked to my heart and I said, thank you, heart. Thank you for assisting me in being here in this reality. You're here with me. We're together. So I don't want to experience you being hurt in any way, shape, or form. So the emotional reasons that you are assisting me with, I lose that. I no longer accept that emotion or emotions that you have to show me that I have. I release that. It took me 5 years, but I don't have congestive heart failure.
And you didn't recognize it as real anymore.
That's right, because that's what I'm saying. Belief versus knowingness. That's another example. I know I'm in perfect health. Now, these other challenges, now, you know, I have other health issues that I'm dealing with, but I am dealing with them from the idea that I don't have to keep them.
Mm.
And what does that mean? See, now that's a knowingness. My belief would be, I have to accept this pain. I have to accept my body being like this. No, I do not. No, I do not. Now, I've created these situations myself because this is part of my how. How do I want to learn my lessons? This is part of my how. You see, that's all it is. Nothing more, nothing less. Unless you want to give it the belief. You know, I'm experiencing diabetes 2 at this point, and I'm working to get rid of it. But in the beginning, I was on 3 medications, 3. One of them was insulin. And insulin, what's the belief on insulin? Once you get on insulin, you can't get off of it. Well, I want you to know right today while I'm talking to you, I am not on insulin. And I am not on the other. I'm down to 1. And soon I'm going to be down to 0. Because I'm not worrying about the time that it takes to do that. I'm focused on doing it. It took 5 years for my heart to get back to the point that I could breathe. I don't know if anybody's ever experienced congestive heart failure, but you can hardly breathe.
Yeah, it's like you're drowning.
Yes, yes.
I haven't experienced it directly, but I've witnessed close relatives and friends that have experienced it, and it's difficult. It's a very challenging experience, and yeah.
But see, I never took it. I said, I'm getting rid of this. Once they told me what it was, I said, oh my goodness, I'm not keeping this. And then on TV, there was a young man, he was in sports, well known in the sports world, who died. And they said he died of congestive heart failure. And I said, there's no way in the world I'm going like he did.
Mm-hmm.
No way. Now, I may die of something else, but I ain't dying of congestive heart failure. And then I started on the road. You see what I'm saying? But that's the difference between my knowingness. It's a knowingness for me.
I mean, you have to recognize, there has to be some recognition. There has to be some awareness that
yes,
that's even possible, right? So, I mean, that's kind of why we're doing this.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Let people know that there are other possibilities in this reality than the ones that they were culturally or familially or religiously indoctrinated in.
Right.
There's more. We have more choices. But it's recognizing. It's very challenging. I was trying this exercise with myself this week to like actually identify what your beliefs are.
I know you did. I have to laugh at that because that was one of the lessons. I think I gave Leigh that as one of her lessons.
Homework.
So
Leigh, you got some homework.
I mean, like to identify what your beliefs are, if they're, let's say, positive or negative beliefs, what your truths are, what your lies are. I mean, like it's deep. And that also got me to thinking this week, like, shit. Oh, sorry. Like taking the road of just like accepting the program is so easy. Just to like, okay, I'm this age, I do this. I'm that age, I do that. I'm that age, I do this. It's so easy because really thinking about what you believe, oh my God, I stumped myself. I still am like, I don't know. I'm asking for help to identify my beliefs. So listeners, if you want a little challenge for yourself, see if you can write those down. But maybe we can pivot a little bit back to the quotation before we take a break and hear from the realm. would just like dismantle this a little more, talking about the quote says, your true, or the true stationary foundation of your reality is the force. So, I think I didn't like the word stationary foundation either. So what, you know, that's, you were saying that that means it's always in our life. Like, that's the knowingness.
Well,
So-
tell everybody why you didn't like the word stationary, because I thought that was interesting.
Oh, because I think I didn't like it because I felt like it, there was a connotation of fixed. And if we're supposed to be the evolutive experientialness of the force, how can we be fixed? If we're supposed to evolve. So
Yeah. See,
Yeah,
that's
I got hooked into that a little bit too, but
Uh-huh.
then once you really just contemplate that word, it's like, it goes hand in hand with that foundation. It means that it's, even though it is evolutionary, it's always there. It's always in place. So with that being said, it is a stationary foundation. It's firm, and everything else can move around it and be the illusion, but the force, we are the force. That is stationary. That doesn't move. It's always there.
yeah, we're always it.
Mm-hmm.
We're never not it. We're always it. I don't care what we're going through. I don't care what species we are. We could be a cell in a person's heart. I've decided to be a cell. See, people have to look too that cells are species. They have unconsciousness and consciousness and communicate as well. Their communication may not be the same as our communication, but they communicate as well. There's going to be a lady that's going to come on who works with me. And she can communicate with the cells. And some of the things that they tell her, it is hysterical. Hysterical. I swear. During the facilitation, I'll be cracking up. Okay. But she can communicate with them, and we're going to meet her on our special day when we celebrate our 1 year.
Yeah,
Day.
it's coming up.
Yeah.
We've been planning that in the background to have, can hardly believe 52 episodes of Shifting Impressions is, yeah, 1 whole year we've been at it. So I've changed. I feel like I've shifted. So I'm so grateful for being here in this space together, and for all the viewers that are supporting us and that we're creating and they're creating and everything. So thank you all.
Right.
do we have a minute to talk about that before we go to the break?
Yes. Go for it.
That idea of communicating cells, right? I mean, I don't know. There's something about that idea, about, you oftentimes on the podcast talk about those blinders, that we view our space from, right? So, and I don't know, it always brings me back to that Matryoshka doll thing, like these fractals, like this, because you were talking about this person who can understand the cell communication. So, this does the cell know that it's part of something bigger? Does the cell know that it's the force? Does the cell know that it is one experiential essence of the liver, and it thinks it's separate from its, cell that's bumping into it next door, and then like, does that liver know that it's part of the human body or the cat body or, whatever it's part of?
Well, it's operating. Let me answer that by saying that it's operating just like we are. It's operating in its own reality.
Mm-hmm.
So it is in its reality. It is there creating its reality. However, it's also attuned for its its purpose.
Mm-hmm.
What it was his purpose? His purpose was there to keep the liver going.
Mm-hmm.
And all the molecules and that the enzymes and the proteins that are working with that, they're living essence. See, everything is living. Like if look at Yvonne's, the geode. That's a geode, isn't that, Yvonne, back there?
Amethyst.
Amethyst, yes.
Mm.
It's living. When you
Yeah.
look at it, you'll think it's dead, quote unquote dead. The rock doesn't live, but that thing is living.
Yeah, sometimes I talk to my crystals and they do talk back.
Yeah, right. But see, you got to be open to it. If you think that,
Yeah, even my
not,
plants.
then
My
it's just
plants,
something different.
I ask them not like to thrive and be healthy, and they are.
Yeah, yeah. So it's everything communicates. Everything communicates, Leigh. Now, does that cell in the liver recognize that it's a cell in the liver? I think so, because we recognize that we are humanoid.
Mm-hmm.
So I think everything recognizes what it is, because that's part of its purpose.
Right.
So I think it does. It's like even cancer cells. I've had to go in and talk to cancer cells,
Are they lonely?
and they communicate, and they're not heinous like we believe it to be. They're
Right.
very kind. They're very kind.
Right.
You
I think they're lonely. I feel like they might just be lonely and misunderstood, kind of like the bully at the playground.
I feel like they just they want
Some attention.
they want the body that they're inhabiting to change and wake up and shift,
Yeah, that's
because the choices that the host is making are not in alignment with their good health. So
right. That's right. You got it.
yeah.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said.
So
Well, ladies, we are at that time of the break. So yeah, just want to thank everybody, Greta, Leigh, and our viewers, and of course Jacob, our producer, Transformation Talk Radio. We are going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we will hear from the realm of beings and see what they have to say about this quotation. So stay tuned.
hello, and welcome back to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings. We have reached the point in the podcast where the realm of beings gets to weigh in on what we've been discussing earlier. Realm, are you with us?
Yes.
So Greta gave us this quotation: the true stationary foundation of your reality is the force. Consequently, everything else that you are experiencing is illusion. So, how can you add some clarity to our conversation today?
We'd like to say to you, first of all, that all species that are actualized as you see yourselves are working toward understanding that they are the force. Some are more advanced than others, but nonetheless, if you've become actualized in a reality, then that's one thing that you're learning as you go through the realities. And your realities don't just stop here. You make your transition, you go into a transitional portal. And when you're in that transitional portal, you're learning your lessons. And one of the lessons that you will be learning is that you are the force. After you hear it for so many times, you're going to finally realize, yeah, I am the force. We're going through the same things. Every species is going through it, regardless of what planet they live on, regardless of what universe they are in, because there are many universes that go into infinity. So every individual is going through what we say enjoyment. That means you're continuing on your journey as the individual that you chose and created to be. Notice that we said what you chose and created to be, because you chose your parents, which created your how. You were given your epigenetics, your genes, your DNA, you were given all of that. And then you created what you wanted your body to look like. And then you created some other hows that you wanted to learn from. Some people decided to come here experiencing autism of various sorts. Some people came to experience being billionaires, etc., etc. But by the time you get to the final, and what is final? It depends on you. It depends on when you understand that you are the force and that you have been the force all along. Once you understand that you've been the force, then you see and know that everything that has been around you that you have been creating is illusion. It's not real. That's why you can go to a foreign country and look at things. They're different perceptions. You can go into the tropical rainforest with the people that live there. Whole different reality, but still on this earth, you see. So it's reality after reality after reality. Some people choose to go into a coma. That's a reality. They're still dealing with, am I the force? Of course you are. But many of you accept the solidness of things, a table, a chair. If I can't touch it, it's not real. Like even if energy is so real, but you can't see it with your humanoid eyes. So therefore, do you say that it doesn't exist just because you can't see it? But then you see the results of the energy. You can turn your lights on, so therefore the energy is there. So when you can see it. So when you start to see everything and see it disappear, see it up here, see it disappear, see it up here. That's letting you know right there that you're dealing with your own perceptions of something. You can be healthy or not healthy. Those who decide they want to be unhealthy, that's to provide them with a challenge in health where they can work and love themselves more and uncreate it. If it was real, it would be with you all the time. It would never leave because you couldn't get rid of it. The fact that you can get rid of something shows you that it's not real. If you write something up on a whiteboard, let's say you write on the word run, R-U-N. So it's there, but you don't want to put the word run on the whiteboard, so you erase it. So now it is no longer there. If it was the true reality, you would not be able to erase the word run. But yet you can see your lives are constantly in a state of change. At every moment, you are creating reality. Some realities you want to keep, some realities you don't want to keep. And you can change those realities. If it was real and stationary, because that quote says, the force is stationary. If the things that you create are real and stationary, you could never uncreate them. And in fact, you couldn't create them. They would be there. But if everybody that's listening to this podcast would examine their lives, then you will see that you create and uncreate. You create and uncreate. You see. The force, you cannot create and uncreate. You cannot. It is the creator of everything. Of everything. Which is, that's it. Which is. It's an isness. It's not bad, it's not good, it's not evil. It's not all of those beliefs that you put to something. You see. Those are beliefs. I believe I have cancer and can't get rid of it. That's a belief. You see. The knowingness is that I am in perfect health because I am the force. Anything that I create, if I don't want it, I can change it because I am the force. You see. If you weren't the force, you couldn't create reality, nor could you uncreate it. Think about that. That shows you right there, you are a creator. You are the creator. You are the force. Are there any questions about what we've said so far?
Yvonne, did you have something? I was thinking about when you were talking realm, you know, something about we can't. I have a question about this physical body that we have. Like, is it illusory or is it real? Because we can change it. I guess that means, I mean, it's always, we are, I guess, always changing it. So that's illusory.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You change your body. Some people want to, they think they're thin, they want to get fat. So then they get fat. Some people who are quote unquote fat want to get thin. So they get thin. You're creating your body at every moment. And your body, every cell in your body, regardless of what type of cell it is supportive of you. Those of you who have decided to entertain parasites that aren't normally in your environment, body environment, they're somewhere else, but you decide, well, I want to experience them, you know, so they come in as well. But they would be ones you might not necessarily want to keep, you know. But still they come. You've called them to yourself. Everything in response to you, you created. I don't care what it is. You could have stubbed your toe. No. Remember the story, it happened a long time ago in this, they were flying a plane. The plane fell out of the sky. Everyone on the plane made their transition except a baby.
Mm.
The baby was still alive. Why? Because the baby created its reality. Well, I'm not going today. That was the reality it created. Grown up now to be an adult. Everyone else made their transition to be able to move on, because there is no stopping, really. Even when you reach the point where you are the force itself. One person asked, well, what do we do now? We only looked at her and said, what do you want to do? You can do anything you want to do. You're the force. You want to be a tree, be a tree. You just want to stay the force and hang out, hang out. You know, you're the force. You can do anything you want to do. Can you imagine if people really believe that? Can create anything they want to create. There's nothing that stops you in this creation of reality except yourselves and your beliefs, because that's what we're talking about here. Beliefs versus knowingness.
And realm, when we have those, like, this is the tricky part about beliefs, right? I mean, first tricky, and oh, I guess this is a belief. They are hard to identify. But aside from that, you know, we have some beliefs that are, let's say, inherited from, you know, our cultural framework that we created to be born into, or the, you know, parental framework we created to be born into, you know, but not, how does it work? You know, not like, if, okay, there are few children in one family, but they all could have various belief systems. So, you know, some maybe got some from the mother, some took some from the father, some took some from some other member of the family. Like, what is the, like, how is it that we create to get these things? I guess I'm just a little confused, you know, like, how do we resonate, because like we're all energy, so everything is like waves and frequency, and that's what beliefs are, I guess, too. Like, how do we, there's so many, like, in a culture, beliefs out there. How do we create to get only some of them and not all of them?
You don't have all of them. If you had all of them, you wouldn't be able to deal with it.
Well, right, so what is the mechanism that like, from a, let's say, you know, maybe we can greater identify or imagine you know, a societal set of beliefs, right? There's so many things, but all the people in the society have different beliefs. How do they get theirs?
Well, you said it inside your question, and that is, at the incarnate stage, you are putting together the makeup of you as a humanoid, or you as a hawthorn, or you as a Pleiadian, or you as an Arcturian, or you as a reptilian. You are putting together the makeup of that particular species. So consequently, you're bringing with you, see that when we say you choose your parents, that is the beginning of your how. Because when you choose your parents are coming with certain epigenetics, which means things that happen in their families and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Or, and you've put yourself in a cultural framework as well. So then you take on the culture. Like, for instance, you could be born in the country of Colombia, but only stay there until you're 2, and your parents move you to Paris, France. So if you will keep a certain amount of your epigenetics, you will keep your DNA, but your experiences that you're going to create are going to be influenced by a French cultural framework. But that's a creation of reality on that person's part in the first place. You see.
Right. But I guess what I'm asking is, okay, so you created to go into this different cultural framework, French, but how is it that we take only certain beliefs from that culture?
Because we made the decision to.
Mhm.
Remember, everything you created in reference to yourself. So you would lessen. Some people just even forget it, period. It's like some people, you'll talk to them, what was your childhood like? I don't remember a thing. They've chosen not to remember. Whereas some people, you ask them, they can tell you everything. They can even tell you what it was like when they were in their mother's wombs. Other people can't do that. It's decision-making. It's choice. What choices are you going to make? Yes. Yes. But see, it's like some people refuse to understand creation of reality. They refuse it. They refuse it based on the fact that they don't want to face themselves. Creation of reality means that you must look at you. You must. You can't look outside of yourself. You must look inside of you when you deal with creation of reality. When you begin to look inside of you and you go deeper and deeper and deeper inside of you, then the knowingness starts to come. The knowingness that you are the force is waiting for you, but it's not waiting on the outside of you. It's waiting on the inside of you. That's where you go.
And we get there by asking. How do we get inside?
That would be part of it. But when you're asking, remember you're talking to yourself, which is
Right.
that's the only individual you can be talking to. It's like when people pray, I'm praying to God. They don't realize that they're praying to themselves.
Realm, we just have a few more seconds. Final words.
We welcome you to come and entertain and learn that you create your own reality. And whatever reality that you have created, it's okay.
Thank you, Realm. Thank you, Greta. Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you, listeners, for joining us on another episode of Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings until we create each other again.
Once again, thanks for joining us at Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings on TransformationTalkRadio.com. As you have explored today's creation of reality experience with Leigh, Yvonne, the Realm, and me, Greta, each of you is being supported by us in further developing the understanding that you are not just an individual existing in linear time and space, but a multi-dimensional force of infinite possibilities who is connected to all. So begin to create the realities you want. Join us every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Shifting Impressions at TransformationTalkRadio.com. So long until we create each other again next Friday.